Maya stepped off the bus on her first day at Jefferson High School, clutching her backpack tightly as she looked around. The small suburban town felt worlds apart from the bustling streets of Chicago where she had grown up. Her parents' recent divorce had forced her to move in with her aunt, and Maya was still adjusting to this new chapter of her life. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself before walking toward the school building. Jefferson High wasn't like the schools back home. Here everyone seemed to know each other, their faces familiar and comfortable in their routines. Maya stood out immediately. Her dark skin glowed under the morning sun, and her confident stride made her seem older than 16. She wore a simple, denim jacket over her uniform, paired with sneakers that were clean but not flashy. Yet it wasn't just her appearance that drew attention. It was the quiet strength she carried herself with. While most newcomers would shrink into invisibility, Maya walked through the hallways with her head held high, refusing to be intimidated by stares or whispers. But being different came at a cost. By lunchtime, Maya already sensed the hostility brewing around her. A group of girls sat near the cafeteria entrance, laughing loudly while stealing glances at her. At the center of the group was Amber, the undisputed queen bee of Jefferson High. With her perfectly styled blonde hair and designer clothes, Amber ruled the school with an iron grip. Her followers, Jessica, Taylor, and Mia, hung on her every word, eager to please her. They weren't just friends. They were soldiers in Amber's army, ready to crush anyone who dared threaten her reign. Amber noticed Maya too. Something about the new girl irritated her. The way she didn't fumble when navigating the crowded hallways, how she didn't scramble to find a seat during class introductions. Most people tried desperately to fit in when they arrived at Jefferson High, but Maya acted like she belonged there, and that infuriated Amber. To her, Maya wasn't just another student. She was competition. Someone bold enough to challenge the status quo without even realizing it. During third period, Maya sat quietly in English class, jotting down notes while the teacher explained Shakespearean sonnets. She barely paid attention to the giggles coming from the corner of the room, where Amber and her crew whispered among themselves. Occasionally, one of them would glance at Maya and smirk. It wasn't until recess that things escalated. As Maya walked to her locker, she heard footsteps behind her. Turning around, she saw Jessica smirking, flanked by Taylor and Mia. "Hey," Jessica said mockingly. "Isn't your name mayonnaise? Like the condiment?" The others burst into laughter, doubling over as if it were the funniest joke they'd ever heard. Maya didn't respond. She simply stared at them, her expression unreadable. This only fueled their amusement. "What's wrong? Can't take a joke?" Mia chimed in, crossing her arms. When Maya continued ignoring them, they grew bolder. Taylor shoved past her roughly, causing Maya to stumble against the lockers. The sound echoed through the hallway, drawing curious looks from nearby students. But no one intervened. No one ever did when Amber's crew was involved. The harassment didn't stop there. Over the next few days, Maya became their favorite target. During gym class, someone accidentally tripped her during a game of dodgeball, sending her sprawling onto the floor. In biology, her textbook mysteriously disappeared, only to reappear hours later covered in doodles mocking her accent. Even online, anonymous messages flooded her phone, calling her names like ghetto and outsider. Each insult chipped away at her resolve, though Maya refused to let it show. Still, Maya didn't fight back, not yet. Instead, she observed. She watched how Amber strutted through the halls, basking in the admiration of her peers. She noticed how Jessica constantly checked her phone, scrolling through social media for validation. She saw how Taylor relied heavily on expensive gifts from her wealthy parents to maintain her popularity. And she paid close attention to Mia, whose manipulative nature kept the group united despite their petty squabbles. Slowly, Maya began piecing together a plan. She knew retaliation wouldn't come overnight, but she also knew she couldn't stay silent forever. At home, Maya confided in her aunt about the bullying. Her aunt listened patiently, offering words of encouragement. "You're stronger than they think, Maya," she said gently. "Don't let them break you." Those words resonated deeply with Maya. Back in Chicago, she had learned valuable lessons from her parents. Her father, a former detective, taught her how to read people and anticipate their moves. Her mother, a social worker, emphasized the importance of patience and timing. Together, these skills formed a foundation Maya could build upon. As the weeks passed, Maya decided to act, but cautiously. She befriended Ethan, a quiet boy who spent most of his time tinkering with computers in the library. Ethan admired Maya for standing up to Amber and willingly shared information he'd uncovered about the clique. One afternoon, he revealed something shocking. Amber had cheated on last semester's math final using answers stored on her phone. Maya's eyes widened as Ethan showed her screenshots proving his claim. Armed with this knowledge, Maya approached Mr. Dawson, the strictest teacher at Jefferson High. Known for his zero-tolerance policy toward cheating, Mr. Dawson listened intently as Maya hinted at suspicious activity during the exam. Without naming names, she provided enough details to pique his interest. Within days, Mr. Dawson launched an investigation, reviewing security footage and confiscating phones. Soon, the truth came to light. Amber had indeed cheated. News of her dishonesty spread like wildfire, tarnishing her reputation and fracturing her control over the group. For the first time since arriving at Jefferson High, Maya allowed herself a small smile. This was only the beginning. With Amber's cheating scandal rocking the school, Maya knew she had struck a significant blow to the Queen Bee's seemingly untouchable status. But Maya wasn't done yet. She understood that dismantling the clique required more than just exposing one secret. It meant targeting each member individually, exploiting their weaknesses until the entire foundation crumbled. Her father's lessons about strategy and precision came flooding back to her as she carefully plotted her next moves. Maya began with Jessica, the weakest link in Amber's crew. Unlike Amber, who thrived on power, or Mia, who manipulated others effortlessly, Jessica relied heavily on external validation to feel important. Her grades had been slipping for months, but she masked her academic struggles with her sharp tongue and cutting remarks. Maya decided to exploit this vulnerability. One afternoon, she casually mentioned to Ethan, her tech-savvy ally, that she'd overheard teachers discussing report cards. "It's sad how some people think bullying makes them cool when they're failing everything," Maya said nonchalantly, knowing full well that Ethan would spread the word. Sure enough, by the end of the day, whispers filled the hallways about Jessica's poor performance. The following week, Jessica received a formal warning from the guidance counselor about her declining grades. If she didn't improve soon, she'd be required to attend summer school, a fate worse than death in her eyes. Panicked, Jessica started skipping lunch with the group to study in the library, leaving Amber visibly annoyed. Without realizing, Jessica distanced herself from the clique, weakening its unity. Maya watched silently, satisfied with the progress. Next on Maya's list was Taylor, the ditzy but cruel sidekick who relied on material possessions to maintain her social standing. Taylor's parents showered her with expensive gifts, designer, bags, luxury watches, and even a car for her 16th birthday. But these items were more than just luxuries. They were tools she used to assert dominance over her peers. Maya saw an opportunity here. She befriended a boy named Ryan, who happened to be dating one of Taylor's closest friends. Through casual conversations, Maya planted seeds of doubt in Ryan's mind about Taylor's boyfriend, Chris. "Have you noticed how Chris always flirts with other girls?" Maya asked innocently during art class. "I mean, he seems nice and all, but isn't he kind of obvious about it?" Ryan shrugged it off at first, but the comment lingered in his mind. Over the next few days, he began paying closer attention to Chris's behavior. Soon, he pointed out what he perceived as red flags to Taylor, who immediately grew suspicious. Confrontations followed, with Taylor accusing Chris of being unfaithful. Their relationship spiraled into chaos, leaving Taylor emotionally drained and isolated. With her focus entirely on her crumbling love life, Taylor stopped participating in Amber's schemes, further fragmenting the group. Mia, however, proved to be the most challenging opponent. As the mastermind behind many of Amber's plans, Mia thrived on manipulation and deceit. She was always 2 steps ahead, anticipating potential threats and neutralizing them before they could cause harm. Maya knew she couldn't confront Mia directly. Instead, she needed to turn the tables using Mia's own tactics against her. Maya spent hours analyzing Mia's behavior, looking for cracks in her polished exterior. What she discovered was fascinating. Mia harbored a deep-seated fear of losing control. If she believed someone was trying to usurp her position within the clique, she would self-destruct. Maya devised a clever plan. Using Ethan's access to the school's computer system, she created anonymous posts on the school's online forum, claiming that Mia was plotting to overthrow Amber and take over the group. The rumors spread quickly, fueled by students eager for drama. At first, Amber dismissed the claims as nonsense, but as more details surfaced, like fabricated messages supposedly written by Mia, the tension between the two girls became palpable. Arguments erupted during lunch, with Amber accusing Mia of betrayal and Mia vehemently denying the allegations. By the end of the week, Amber officially kicked Mia out of the clique, leaving her humiliated and friendless. As the pieces fell into place, Maya felt a sense of satisfaction wash over her. Each member of the clique was now dealing with personal crises, too consumed with their own problems to focus on tormenting her. Yet, despite her victories, Maya remained cautious. She knew Amber wouldn't go down without a fight. True to form, Amber confronted Maya in the girls' bathroom one afternoon after school. The room echoed with the sound of slamming doors as Amber cornered Maya near the sinks. "You think you're so smart, don't you?" Amber spat, her voice dripping with venom. "You've ruined everything for us, for me. Who do you think you are?" Maya met her gaze calmly, unfazed by the tirade. For weeks she had endured Amber's cruelty, her insults, and her attempts to break her spirit. Now, standing face to face with her tormentor, Maya finally spoke up. "I'm nobody special," Maya replied evenly. "But I'm not afraid of you. You've spent your whole life tearing people down because you're scared of being ordinary. Well, guess what? You are ordinary." Her words hit Amber like a punch to the gut. For the first time, Amber realized she was fighting a losing battle. No matter how much she screamed or threatened, Maya refused to back down. Defeated, Amber stormed out of the bathroom, leaving Maya alone but victorious. Word of Maya's takedown spread quickly throughout Jefferson High. Students who once feared speaking out against Amber and her crew began sharing stories of their own experiences with bullying. Some even apologized to Maya for not standing up for her earlier. To everyone's surprise, Maya didn't hold grudges. Instead, she channeled her energy into making positive changes in the school community. She organized anti-bullying workshops, encouraging students to support one another rather than tear each other apart. Teachers praised her leadership, and classmates admired her resilience. By senior year, Maya had transformed from the new girl no one wanted to cross into a respected figure everyone looked up to. Her quiet strength and unwavering determination inspired others to stand up for themselves. While she never sought revenge for revenge's sake, Maya proved that sometimes fighting back is necessary, not just for personal justice, but for collective empowerment. And though Amber tried to rebuild her reputation, she could never regain the authority she once held. Deep down, she knew she had messed with the wrong new girl. As the chaos surrounding Amber and her clique continued to unfold, Maya found herself at the center of a shifting social landscape. Her calculated moves had destabilized the once unshakable hierarchy at Jefferson High, but she knew the battle wasn't over yet. While Amber's power crumbled piece by piece, her desperation grew, and desperate people were unpredictable. Maya remained vigilant, knowing that Amber wouldn't let go without one final attempt to reclaim control. Amber's fury reached its peak during the school's annual talent show auditions. Determined to prove she was still relevant, Amber signed up to perform a choreographed dance routine with a group of girls who still admired her. It was her chance to shine again, to remind everyone why they used to fear her. But Maya saw an opportunity in this moment of vulnerability. She didn't want to sabotage Amber's performance outright. That would make her look petty, but she wanted to ensure Amber couldn't win back the admiration she'd lost. Maya enlisted Ethan's help once more. Together, they dug into Amber's past, searching for anything that could undermine her confidence before the big day. What they uncovered was gold. Videos of Amber practicing her routine alone in her room, posted months earlier on a private account she thought no one could access. In these clips, Amber stumbled repeatedly, tripping over her own feet and messing up the choreography. Ethan edited the footage into a short montage set to comedic music and uploaded it anonymously to the school's online forum late at night. By morning, the video had gone viral among students. Laughter echoed through the hallways as teens gathered around their phones, watching Amber's awkward attempts at dancing. The mockery spread like wildfire, leaving Amber mortified when she discovered what had happened. During rehearsals, her teammates began questioning her abilities, doubting whether she could pull off the performance. Amber tried to brush it off, insisting she was better prepared now, but doubt lingered in the air. Her confidence wavered, and her frustration boiled over into angry outbursts directed at anyone within earshot. Meanwhile, Maya focused on solidifying her position as someone students respected, not because she intimidated them, but because she inspired trust and resilience. She spent her free periods talking to classmates who had been bullied, offering advice and encouragement. Many of them confided in her about their struggles, revealing just how far Amber's cruelty had reached. Some admitted they avoided speaking, up for fear of becoming targets themselves, while others expressed guilt for staying silent while others suffered. Maya listened patiently, assuring them that change was possible if they stood together. Her efforts culminated in organizing a Stand Strong assembly, where students were invited to share their stories of overcoming adversity. Maya opened the event with a heartfelt speech, recounting her own experiences since arriving at Jefferson High. "Bullying thrives when we stay quiet," she told the audience, her voice steady and clear. "But when we speak up, for ourselves and for each other, we take away its power." Her words resonated deeply, earning thunderous applause from the crowd. Several students followed her lead, stepping onto the stage to share their own encounters with bullying. By the end of the assembly, tears flowed freely, not from sadness but from a sense of unity and hope. The impact of the assembly rippled throughout the school. Students who had previously cowered under Amber's rule started standing up to her, refusing to tolerate her insults or manipulation. Even teachers noticed the shift, praising Maya for fostering a culture of accountability and kindness. For the first time in years, Jefferson High felt less like a battleground and more like a community. But Amber refused to fade quietly into obscurity. Desperate to regain some semblance of authority, she concocted a plan to publicly humiliate Maya during the talent show itself. On the night of the performance, Amber sneaked backstage and tampered with Maya's microphone, which she had volunteered to use for a spoken word piece about self-empowerment. Amber smirked as she imagined Maya stumbling through her poem, unable to deliver her lines due to technical difficulties. What Amber hadn't anticipated was Maya's resourcefulness. When Maya stepped onto the stage and realized her microphone wasn't working, she simply smiled and continued without it. Her voice carried effortlessly across the auditorium, strong and unwavering. The audience leaned forward, captivated by her words. "Strength isn't measured by how loud you shout, but by how steady you stand when the world tries to knock you out. Courage isn't born in perfection. It grows in scars unseen, in every fall, in every fight, in every dream, deferred but unbroken." By the time Maya finished, the room erupted in cheers. Students rose to their feet, clapping and chanting her name. Amber, watching from the wings, felt her chest tighten with anger and shame. Her plan had backfired spectacularly, turning Maya into even more of a hero than before. In the days that followed, Amber's isolation became complete. Her remaining allies distanced themselves, unwilling to associate with someone whose actions consistently alienated others. Teachers kept a closer eye on her behavior, wary of any further attempts to disrupt the newfound harmony at school. For the first time in her life, Amber faced consequences for her actions, and she hated every second of it. Maya, on the other hand, embraced her role as a leader. She worked tirelessly to ensure the positive changes at Jefferson High weren't fleeting. Alongside Ethan and a few trusted friends, she launched an anti-bullying initiative called Rise Together, aimed at creating safe spaces for students to express themselves without fear of judgment. Posters adorned the hallways, featuring quotes about courage and resilience. Workshops were held weekly, teaching students conflict resolution skills and the importance of empathy. Though Maya never sought revenge for revenge's sake, she understood the value of holding people accountable for their actions. By dismantling Amber's toxic influence, she had given countless students the courage to reclaim their voices. And though Amber would likely never admit it, Maya's actions forced her to confront the damage she had caused, and perhaps, someday, learn from it. As graduation approached, Maya reflected on her journey. She had arrived at Jefferson High as an outsider, determined to survive in a hostile environment. Instead, she had transformed the school into a place where kindness mattered more than popularity, where strength came not from tearing others down, but from lifting them up. As she walked across the stage to receive her diploma, Maya felt a profound sense of accomplishment. She had proven that standing up to bullies wasn't just about winning, it was about creating a better future for everyone. And deep down, Amber knew she had messed with the wrong new girl. The ripple effects of Maya's actions continued to reshape Jefferson High long after Amber's reign had crumbled. By senior year, the school felt like a different place entirely. The hallways, once filled with tension and whispered insults, now buzzed with laughter and genuine camaraderie. Students who had once feared speaking their minds became vocal advocates for change, inspired by Maya's courage and determination. Even teachers noticed the shift, commenting on how much more welcoming and supportive the environment had become. Maya herself had grown into an undeniable force within the school community. Her quiet confidence had evolved into bold leadership, earning her respect from both peers and faculty. She wasn't just the girl who stood up to bullies anymore. She was someone people turned to for guidance, encouragement, and wisdom. Yet despite her growing influence, Maya remained humble. She understood that true strength lay not in dominating others, but in empowering them. And she worked tirelessly to ensure everyone at Jefferson High felt seen and valued. One of Maya's most impactful initiatives was Rise Together, the anti-bullying program she co-founded with Ethan and a small group of dedicated students. What started as a simple idea quickly blossomed into a full-fledged movement. Every Friday afternoon, Maya led workshops where students could share their experiences, discuss strategies for handling conflict, and brainstorm ways to foster kindness in their daily lives. These sessions weren't mandatory, but attendance grew steadily as word spread about how transformative they were. During one particularly memorable session, a freshman named Lily stepped forward hesitantly to share her story. With tears streaming down her face, she recounted how older students had mocked her for wearing hand-me-down clothes and having a stutter. For weeks, she dreaded coming to school, convinced no one cared about her struggles. But seeing Maya speak out against bullying gave her the courage to keep going. "You showed me it's okay to be different," Lily said, looking directly at Maya. "And you made me believe I'm not alone." The room fell silent as Lily spoke, her voice trembling, yet determined. When she finished, the entire group erupted in applause, cheering her on. Maya hugged her tightly, whispering words of encouragement. Moments like these reminded Maya why she had fought so hard, to create a world where no one felt invisible or unworthy. But while Maya celebrated these victories, she also faced new challenges. As her popularity soared, so did expectations. Some students began pressuring her to take on bigger roles, urging her to run for student council president or lead protests against systemic issues beyond the school walls. Others criticized her efforts, accusing her of seeking attention or trying to play the hero. At times, the weight of these opinions threatened to overwhelm her. It was during one of these low moments that Maya sought solace in her aunt's kitchen. Sitting at the table with a steaming cup of tea, she poured out her frustrations. Her aunt listened patiently, nodding occasionally before offering sage advice. "You can't please everyone, Maya," she said gently. "What matters is staying true to yourself. If your heart tells you something is right, then trust that. People will always have opinions, but only you know why you do what you do." Her aunt's words struck a chord. Maya realized she didn't need validation from anyone else. She already knew why she was fighting, for every kid who ever felt powerless, for every voice silenced by fear, and for the belief that kindness could conquer cruelty. Armed with renewed clarity, Maya returned to school ready to tackle whatever came next. Meanwhile, Amber struggled to find her footing in this new reality. Once the undisputed queen of Jefferson High, she now found herself ostracized and ignored. Her attempts to regain popularity, throwing parties, volunteering for school events, even apologizing publicly for past mistakes, fell flat. No matter what she did, people treated her with suspicion, unwilling to forget the years of pain she had inflicted. At first, Amber lashed out, blaming Maya for ruining her life. But as time went on, she began to see glimpses of the person she used to be before the power went to her head. Late at night, lying awake in bed, she replayed memories of when friendships were built on trust rather than manipulation. She thought about how lonely she felt now, surrounded by acquaintances who barely acknowledged her existence. And slowly, painfully, she started questioning whether all the cruelty had been worth it. One evening, after another failed attempt to reconnect with old friends, Amber broke down in tears. Her mother, hearing her sobs, knocked softly on her bedroom door. "Amber, sweetheart, what's wrong?" she asked, sitting beside her daughter on the edge of the bed. For the first time in months, Amber opened up, confessing everything: the cheating scandal, the rumors, the fractured relationships. Her mother listened without judgment, holding her close as she cried. "You've made mistakes, yes," her mother said finally, "but everyone deserves a second chance. Maybe it's time to prove you're better than the person you've been." Those words lingered in Amber's mind long after her mother left the room. Could she really change? Did anyone still care enough to give her a chance? Determined to try, Amber approached Maya after school the following week. It took every ounce of courage she had to walk up to her former rival and say, "Can we talk?" Maya raised an eyebrow, surprised but willing to hear her out. They sat together under a tree near the football field, the golden hues of sunset casting a warm glow around them. "I know I've done terrible things," Amber admitted, her voice shaky. "Things I can't take back, but I want to, make amends somehow, start over." She braced herself for rejection, expecting Maya to dismiss her apology as insincere. Instead, Maya studied her thoughtfully, searching for honesty in her expression. "Change isn't easy," Maya replied after a pause. "But if you're serious about it, then I'll support you. Just remember, one action doesn't erase everything. You'll have to earn people's trust again, step by step." Amber nodded, relief washing over her. For the first time in ages, she felt a glimmer of hope. As the weeks passed, Amber threw herself into making amends. She apologized to those she had hurt, volunteered her time to help struggling students, and joined Maya's Rise Together program as a mentor. While some remained skeptical of her motives, others welcomed her efforts, recognizing the sincerity behind her actions. Slowly but surely, Amber began rebuilding her reputation, not as a queen bee, but as someone striving to be better. By graduation day, Jefferson High was unrecognizable from the toxic environment Maya had entered 2 years earlier. The ceremony buzzed with excitement as seniors prepared to embark on new adventures. When Maya stepped onto the stage to deliver the valedictorian speech, the crowd erupted in cheers. Dressed in her cap and gown, she smiled warmly at her classmates, her voice steady as she spoke. "When I first came here, I never imagined I'd leave feeling like this school was my home," she began. "But that's exactly what happened. Because of each of you. Together we proved that kindness is stronger than cruelty, that unity is greater than division. Let's carry that lesson with us wherever we go." As confetti rained down and caps flew into the air, Maya looked out at the sea of faces. Among them was Amber, smiling through happy tears. Though their journey had been fraught with conflict, they had both emerged stronger and wiser. Maya knew the road ahead wouldn't always be easy, but she also knew she had the tools to face whatever came next. After all, she had already proven that standing up to bullies wasn't just about revenge, it was about creating a brighter future for everyone. And deep down, Amber knew she had messed with the wrong new girl. Graduation marked a turning point not just for Maya and Amber, but for Jefferson High itself. The ceremony may have ended with cheers and applause, but the real work of sustaining the changes Maya had sparked was only beginning. As summer approached, students dispersed to internships, travel plans, or simply jobs at local diners, carrying with them the lessons they'd learned during their final years at school. For Maya, however, the transition wasn't as simple. Leaving behind the community she had fought so hard to transform felt bittersweet. In the weeks following graduation, Maya spent most of her time packing up her room at her aunt's house. Boxes lined the floor, each filled with mementos from her 2 transformative years in the small suburban town. Photographs of smiling classmates, notes passed during workshops, even the worn-out sneakers she wore on her first day at Jefferson High. As she packed, memories flooded back. Some painful, others triumphant, but all meaningful. She realized how much she had grown since stepping off that bus, wide-eyed and uncertain, into a world that seemed determined to reject her. Her phone buzzed constantly with messages from friends checking in, asking when she'd return for visits or sharing updates about their own lives. One message stood out, a text from Amber. "Hey Maya," it read. "I just wanted to say thank you again. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'm really trying to be better. Hope we can stay in touch." Maya smiled softly, typing. A quick reply. "Of course. Keep working on yourself, you've got this." While Maya appreciated Amber's effort to make amends, she couldn't help but reflect on the complexity of forgiveness. It wasn't easy letting go of the hurt caused by Amber and her clique. But over time, Maya came to understand that revenge wasn't the goal. Healing was. By dismantling the toxic dynamics that dominated Jefferson High, she hadn't just punished those who wronged her. She had created space for redemption. And seeing Amber take responsibility for her actions gave Maya hope that people could change if given the chance. Amber, too, faced challenges in her quest for self-improvement. Without the structure of school to anchor her, she struggled to find purpose in her days. Her parents encouraged her to enroll in community college, but Amber hesitated. "What if no one there likes me?" she confided to her mother one evening. "What if I mess things up again?" Her mother placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You won't know unless you try," she said gently. "And remember, liking someone doesn't mean they have to agree with everything you do. True friendships are built on honesty and growth, not perfection." Taking her mother's advice to heart, Amber decided to enroll in a few classes at the local college. On her first day, she walked into a classroom nervously expecting judgmental stares. Instead, she found a group of diverse students eager to learn and connect. Over time, she discovered that being vulnerable, admitting her past mistakes, and expressing her desire to improve earned her respect rather than ridicule. These new friendships became a lifeline, reminding her that second chances were possible if she worked for them. Meanwhile, Maya prepared for her next chapter, attending a prestigious university in Chicago. Returning to the city where she grew up felt like coming full circle, yet she knew this journey would bring its own set of challenges. College campuses were notorious for cliques and rivalries, much like high school. But Maya carried with her the tools she had honed at Jefferson High: patience, observation, and an unshakable belief in the power of kindness. During orientation week, Maya quickly noticed patterns similar to those she'd seen before. Certain groups dominated social circles while quieter students lingered on the sidelines, hesitant to join in. Determined to avoid repeating history, Maya reached out to these overlooked individuals, inviting them to grab coffee or study together. Slowly, she began forming connections based on mutual support rather than superficial popularity. One such connection was with a girl named Priya, who reminded Maya of herself when she first arrived at Jefferson High. Priya had transferred from another state and often looked lost amidst the sea of unfamiliar faces. When Maya introduced herself after class one day, Priya's relief was palpable. "I thought everyone here already had their friend groups figured out," Priya admitted. "It's nice to meet someone who actually talks to me." Their friendship blossomed quickly, and soon Maya found herself mentoring Priya in ways she never expected. From navigating campus resources to dealing with difficult professors, Maya shared tips and strategies she had picked up along the way. In return, Priya offered fresh perspectives and infectious enthusiasm, reminding Maya why she had chosen to pursue leadership roles in the first place. Back in the suburbs, Jefferson High continued evolving under the influence of Maya's legacy. The Rise Together program thrived, expanding to include peer mentoring initiatives and mental health awareness campaigns. Students who had once feared speaking out became vocal advocates for inclusivity and empathy. Even teachers reported fewer instances of bullying, attributing the shift to the culture of accountability Maya had fostered. But perhaps the most profound impact was felt by Amber. Through her classes and volunteer work, she slowly rebuilt her sense of identity. No longer defined by her popularity or cruelty, Amber embraced her flaws and celebrated her progress. When she received an invitation to speak at Jefferson High's annual anti-bullying assembly, she accepted without hesitation. Standing on the same stage where Maya had delivered her powerful spoken word piece years earlier, Amber addressed the current student body. "I used to think power meant controlling others," she confessed, her voice steady despite the nerves bubbling inside her. "But I was wrong. Real power comes from lifting people up, not tearing them down. If I can change, anyone can. Don't let fear or insecurity dictate your choices. Choose kindness. It's the strongest thing you can do." The audience erupted in applause, moved by Amber's honesty and vulnerability. Watching from afar via livestream, Maya felt a swell of pride. Though she and Amber had taken very different paths, they shared a common mission: creating a world where bullying had no place. As autumn settled over both cities, Maya reflected on how far she had come. Her journey hadn't been easy, far from it, but every challenge had taught her something valuable. She learned that standing up to bullies wasn't just about revenge. It was about breaking cycles of harm and fostering environments where everyone could thrive. She also learned that forgiveness wasn't weakness. It was strength. By choosing compassion over bitterness, Maya had transformed not only her own life, but countless others. Late one night, sitting in her dorm room surrounded by textbooks and half-empty coffee cups, Maya wrote in her journal. "Change starts small," she penned. "One act of courage, one moment of kindness, one person deciding they won't accept cruelty anymore. That's how revolutions begin, not with grand gestures, but with quiet determination." Closing her journal, Maya smiled to herself. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new opportunities to make a difference. But for now, she allowed herself to rest, knowing she had already proven that standing up to bullies wasn't just about winning, it was about building a brighter future for everyone. And deep down, Amber knew she had messed with the wrong new girl. By the time winter rolled around, Maya had settled into her new life at the university in Chicago. The bustling city streets and towering skyscrapers felt familiar, yet invigorating, offering a stark contrast to the quiet suburban town she had left behind. Yet, despite the excitement of starting fresh, Maya often found herself reflecting on her journey, the battles fought, the lessons learned, and the people who had shaped her along the way. Her experiences at Jefferson High were never far from her mind. They had become part of who she was, woven into the fabric of her identity. At college, Maya continued to inspire those around her with her unwavering commitment to kindness and justice. She joined several student organizations focused on social change, quickly rising through the ranks due to her natural leadership skills and empathetic nature. One group, called Empower Together, aimed to address systemic inequalities within the education system. Through workshops, fundraisers, and advocacy campaigns, Maya worked tirelessly to ensure marginalized voices were heard and respected. Her efforts earned her recognition not only among peers but also from faculty members, who praised her ability to unite diverse groups under a common cause. Yet, even as Maya thrived in this new environment, challenges arose that tested her resolve. Some students resisted her initiatives, accusing her of being too idealistic or overly ambitious. Others dismissed her ideas outright, claiming they lacked practicality. At times, these criticisms weighed heavily on Maya, making her question whether she was truly making a difference. But she reminded herself of the advice her aunt had given her. You can't please everyone. Stay true to yourself. One particularly difficult moment came during a heated debate in a sociology class. A fellow student challenged Maya's views on privilege and inequality, arguing that personal responsibility mattered more than societal structures. The discussion grew tense, with both sides presenting passionate arguments. When the professor asked for final thoughts, Maya took a deep breath before speaking. It's not about blaming anyone, she said calmly, her voice steady. It's about understanding how systems work and recognizing our role in either perpetuating harm or creating change. We all have power, no matter how small it seems. It's what we choose to do with that power that defines us. Her words resonated deeply, earning nods of agreement from classmates and a thoughtful look from the professor. Though the disagreement didn't resolve immediately, it sparked meaningful conversations that continued long after the bell rang. Meanwhile, back in the suburbs, Amber navigated her own path toward growth and transformation. Community college proved to be a turning point for her, providing opportunities to explore interests she had ignored while chasing popularity at Jefferson High. She discovered a love for creative writing, pouring her emotions into poetry and short stories that captured her journey of self-discovery. Her professors encouraged her talent, urging her to submit pieces to literary magazines and campus publications. To Amber's surprise, her work began receiving praise, not just for its technical skill, but for its raw honesty. One day, while scrolling through social media, Amber stumbled upon a post from Maya. It was a photo of Maya standing alongside fellow students at a rally advocating for educational equity. The caption read, "Change starts with courage. Keep fighting for what matters." Inspired by Maya's message, Amber decided to share one of her poems publicly, a piece titled Redemption. The poem described her struggles with guilt, regret, and the slow process of rebuilding trust. Within hours, comments poured in from friends and strangers alike, many expressing admiration for her vulnerability and resilience. Encouraged by the response, Amber reached out to Maya again, this time sharing her poem. "I wanted you to see this," she wrote. "Your example gave me the courage to put my truth out there. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself." Maya replied warmly, congratulating Amber on her bravery and encouraging her to keep writing. Their exchange marked the beginning of a tentative friendship, built on mutual respect and shared experiences. As spring approached, Maya prepared for her biggest challenge yet, organizing a citywide youth summit focused on combating bullying and promoting inclusivity. The event would bring together students from various schools and backgrounds, offering workshops, panel discussions, and networking opportunities. Maya poured countless hours into planning every detail, determined to make the summit impactful and memorable. On the day of the summit, hundreds of attendees gathered at a downtown conference center, buzzing with anticipation. Maya stood backstage, adjusting her microphone and reviewing her notes. As she stepped onto the stage, the crowd erupted in applause. Smiling nervously, she began her opening speech. "When I first started high school, I faced cruelty I never thought I'd survive," she admitted, her voice trembling slightly. "But instead of letting it break me, I chose to fight back, not with anger, but with action. Today, we're here because each of you has the power to create change. Whether it's standing up for someone being bullied or simply listening without judgment, your actions matter. Together, we can build a world where everyone feels safe, valued, and loved." Her words struck a chord, leaving many in the audience visibly moved. Over the course of the day, participants engaged in lively discussions, shared personal stories, and brainstormed solutions to address bullying in their communities. By the end of the summit, Maya received overwhelming feedback, praising the event's impact. Teachers and parents expressed gratitude for equipping young people with tools to combat negativity and foster empathy. In the months that followed, Maya's influence extended beyond the university and into broader circles. She was invited to speak at conferences and interviewed by local news outlets about her advocacy work. Each platform offered an opportunity to amplify her message, reaching audiences far beyond what she had imagined. Yet, despite her growing visibility, Maya remained grounded, always prioritizing connection over fame. Back in the suburbs, Amber continued her journey of reinvention. With renewed confidence, she applied for transfer programs at four-year universities, eager to pursue a degree in creative writing. When acceptance letters arrived, she celebrated quietly with her family, grateful for the second chance she had earned. Before leaving for her new school, Amber visited Jefferson High one last time, walking through the familiar hallways and reminiscing about the person she used to be. Standing near the lockers where she once tormented Maya, Amber whispered a silent, "Promise, never again." Years later, Maya graduated from university with honors, ready to embark on a career dedicated to advocacy and community building. Her achievements earned her accolades, but what truly mattered to her was the ripple effect of her efforts. Countless students across the country implemented anti-bullying initiatives inspired by her example, proving that even small acts of courage could spark monumental change. Amber, now a published author, released her debut collection of poems, which included Redemption. The book received critical acclaim, praised for its authenticity and emotional depth. In interviews, Amber credited Maya for inspiring her transformation, acknowledging the role forgiveness played in her healing process. Their paths occasionally crossed at events or reunions, each interaction reinforcing the bond they had forged through adversity. Looking back on her journey, Maya realized that standing up to bullies wasn't just about revenge. It was about breaking cycles of harm and fostering environments where everyone could thrive. She had proven that kindness wasn't weakness, it was strength. And though their roads diverged, Maya and Amber remained living testaments to the idea that people could grow, learn, and rise above their pasts. Deep down, Amber knew she had messed with the wrong new girl, and Maya knew she had helped rewrite the story.